Part 46. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bhaya 11U. Chapter 453. Recite the URL silently 3 times. Do you remember it? If you don't remember, I'll ask again in the next chapter. It's best to share it on Facebook for me. Seeing Lu Bachan with a straight face, village chief Zhou and others were so frightened that their legs trembled. Lu Bachan's prestige in the military has been getting higher and higher in recent years. He holds the governorship of the vassal town in Kyushu and has an army of 200,000. He fought in a sea of blood. He is also kind to Sukingyu and his family. In the eyes of outsiders, no different than the evil god. No one who saw him dared to look directly at him. Sir, we are from a nearby village. We heard that noble people are here, so we just came to have a look. Really, we didn't want to do anything. The village chief and others knelt on the ground, not daring to raise their heads, and their limbs were shaking. Grandpa, the children who were digging clams at the beach ran over when they heard the noise. They were a little scared when they saw Grandpa and many villagers kneeling on the ground. Sukingyu pulled Lu Bachan. Ask people to help the village chief and others up. Old man, don't be afraid. We are not bad people. Our family just comes to the beach to play. The children have never seen the sea, so I took them out to see it. Old man, are you from a nearby village? Although the village chief and others stood up, they did not dare to raise their heads. For your information, sir, we are from the nearby Lashan village. This is the boundary of our village. I heard from a few children that there are strangers coming to the beach. We are here to take a look. Grandpa, do you think they are here to collect fishing taxes? They are not, they are just here for fun, and you ask me to teach them how to dig clams. They have never even dug clams. The older child at the beach pulled the village chief and said something. The village chief hurriedly pulled his grandson and asked him to stop talking. We don't live by the sea, so of course we haven't dug clams before. But when we came here today, we dug clams. Xiao Qi angrily defended herself when the other party said that she had never dug clams. When the village chief saw such a young girl, he suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. Maybe they really aren't here to collect fishing taxes? Who brings such a young child to collect fishing tax? Sukingyu and Lu Bachan looked at each other. Although they had many questions, it was difficult to ask them now. Then he said to the village chief, Old man, we people are going to spend the night at the beach and cook at night. Can you tell us where there is fresh water so that we can fetch some water and cook dinner? Huh? The nobles want to be the best at this beach. Seeing Sukingyu nodding, he was stunned. It's windy at night on the beach, and how can you live here? There are so many people? How about the nobles staying in our village for a night? No, we have brought tents, tarps, and bedding. The elderly don't have to worry about us. The village chief and others looked at each other. It seemed they were really here for fun. They all breathed a sigh of relief. There is a well in our village. I will take you to fetch water. Thank you, old man. Is there anyone in the village who has fresh vegetables? Or fresh catches? We will also buy some from you. Although I brought enough things, since I came to the local area, I wanted to try the local food. Yes, 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 our village relies on fishing for a living, and there are still some catches. But if the nobles want to eat fresh food, they have to wait until the fishing boat from our village comes back today. Village chief, didn't you tell the boat not to dock today? A man tugged on the village chief's clothes. I thought the sound was very quiet, but Sukingyu and others heard it. Sukingyu and Lu Bachan looked at each other. Why not let the boat dock? Do the fishing boats have to spend the night in the sea? Xiaobao didn't understand and asked. The older child who followed him to dig clams, named Siwa, said, My grandpa may have regarded you as the servants who came to collect the fishing tax. 4 babies, the village chief glared at him. Siwa tightened her mouth. Sukingyu didn't want to lose the fresh catch. It was a big thank you that she couldn't eat it even though she had come here. He glanced at Lu Bachan and reassured the village chief, "Old man, don't worry. We are not here to collect fishing tax. And don't be afraid. With my husband, no one dares to come to collect fishing tax. You can safely dock your ship. We have a lot of people, so we take a fancy to the catch you catch and buy it from you, so you don't have to go all the way to the city to pick it up." Who is this? Why is it that while he is here, no one dares to collect the fishing tax? While the village chief was still thinking, he heard the villagers ask, "Really? Your Excellency really buys from us? Really, if you have any good seafood, you can bring it to us. We will come all the way. If there are good local products, we will also buy some to take home." Everyone following the village chief rubbed their hands happily. Sukingneo saw that although they were interested, no one made any move, so she looked at the baskets of the fourth child and other children. "We all want these clams. Please set a price." "Ah, noble man, you want to buy our clams, you can just dig them up on the tidal flats, so why should you spend money to buy theirs? Not worth the money." "Yes, how much do you usually sell it for?" "This is worthless, so I'll give it to you." Sukinjeo smiled and said, "This is what you earn through your labor. How can you not accept payment?" She looked at Yubai and Guo beside her. Guo and Yubai walked over and looked through the baskets of several children. "You guys are big or small? 1 kilogram counts as 5 cents. You guys." He weighed the weight. One child dug up about 20 or 30 kilograms. Looking at the string of copper plates stuffed into their hands, not only the children were stunned, but the village chief and others were also stunned. Each child received 1 or 200 coins. They usually pick fresh fish, shrimps, and crabs and walk a day to Haizu, but they only sell them for 20 or 30 cents, and they often have to take them back if they can't sell them. This worthless clam was sold for so much money. "Noble sir, this is too much." The village chief's voice was trembling. "Take it. If it's delicious, I'll buy it from you." "My lord, do you still want more? Let's dig more." The children were very excited. "My lord, I have dried fish and squid at home. Do you want them?" "My lord, I have seaweed at home, do you want it?" "Noble. Your Majesty, come and have a look in our village. Every household has dried fish and seafood." The village chief immediately became enthusiastic and worked hard to sell the products. Sukingyu and others were surrounded by the villagers of Lishan village. "Don't worry, it's getting late today. We have to set up camp, so we won't go to your village. We won't leave for the time being. Please ask the village chief to take my people to the village to get some fresh water." "Okay. No need for the nobles to go, we will pick them for you." Sukingyu thought for a moment and nodded, "That's fine. We'll give you 10 cents for a load of water." I'll pick. Everyone around Sukingyu ran away, even the village chief ran away. 10 coins for a load of water, Niangle. Let each member of the family pick up a load. 1 load is 10 cents, 5 loads is 50 cents. The fourth child and other children looked at the running villagers, looked at each other, held the coins in their hands, and asked Sukingyu, "My lord, do you still want clams?" Sukingyu looked at the nearly 100 kilograms of clams in several baskets and smiled at him. "I don't want them today. If I want them tomorrow, I'll find you again." "My lord, do you really want dried fish?" "I have it at home." The little girl held the copper plate tightly in her arms and asked timidly. "If it's good, we want it." The little girl nodded happily and said to the 4 children, "Fourth brother, let's come back quickly and get them for the nobles to choose from." Several children said hello to Sukingyu and others and ran away. At the beginning of the chapter, I asked you to read it silently 3 times. Do you remember? Share on Facebook and there may be surprises. Madam, She has a tender heart. Author, Bh Yaoye 11U. Chapter 454. Su Qingnao, Qing Xing, and others were shocked when they saw this mighty water-carrying army coming towards them. Sister, is the whole village mobilized? Qing Xing was stunned. Village chief Zhou was a little embarrassed. He returned to the village. Before he could speak, the villagers following him spread the word. It was said that a group of noble people came to the beach and wanted fresh water for 10 coins a load. The young and old in the village immediately started to move. One after another they took the buckets and basins at home, filled them with water and carried them over. Zhou Chen was afraid that the noble would blame him, so he asked the villagers to stop from a distance. "My lord, we have brought water, do you want it?" Su Qingyu nodded blankly. Firstly, they really need water, and secondly, looking at these villagers wearing patches on top of each other, they couldn't bear to refuse. The villagers following Zhou Chen were immediately happy and came over one after another carrying water. Dabao, Xiaobao, and others looked at this group of people blankly. Seeing that they took 10 cents, they seemed happy. Dabao and others were stunned and felt a little touched in their hearts. "My lord, do you still want water?" a group of villagers asked cautiously after taking the money. "These are enough. We don't have anything to free your buckets. Do you have anything useful at home?" "Yes, sir, don't worry, it's all useful at home." "Okay, then when we free the bucket, you can take it back." "Okay, okay. Take your time." Siwa followed his grandfather, carrying a basket of dried fish and other items, and walked up to Su Qingyu. "My lord, this is our family's seafood. Take a look, do you want it?" "My lord, I have them here too. I have it at home too." Seeing Su Qingyu and others looking through Siwa's dried fish, others gathered around with dried fish and other items in their hands. Just now, the fourth child and several other children returned to the village with copper coins in their hands. There was a sensation in the village. When did the worthless clams on the tidal flat sell for hundreds of coins? 5 cents a pound. "Sir, do you still want it? They can dig overnight. You all come one by one, you can't watch even if you are surrounded like this." Guo and others shouted. The village chief drank the villagers back, and everyone lined up with peace of mind, waiting for the nobleman to look through it. The mother of the little girl, Cai Ya, held her hand tightly and held the basket in her arms, her eyes filled with anticipation. This group of nobles seemed to be rich at first sight, so they just gave Cai Ya 120 yuan for selling clams. She and Cai Ya's father carried a load of fish to Haizu city late at night, but they couldn't sell it for more than a few dozen coins a day. Cai Ya dug half a basket of clams and got 120 coins. Cai Ya's mother waited excitedly and took out all the best things in the house. Su Qingyu took Yu Bai Guo and others to pick them up carefully. Lu Bachan and others also followed and watched. "Mom, what is this?" "There's also a whisker," Zioki asked, holding a piece of dried squid in her hand. "This is dried squid." Su Qingyu took a piece of it in her hand, put it under her nose and smelled it. It was well dried, bright in color, and large in size. Su Qingyu was satisfied. "Why should we keep such a good catch at home instead of selling it in the city?" Su Qingnao was a little confused when she saw that everyone brought a lot of it. "It can't be sold at a high price in the city. It's a day's walk from Haizu here. We go in the morning and come back at midnight. The fresh catch is no longer fresh. We need to dry it and make it dry. But the dried catch can't be sold at a high price. Our Haizu is close to the sea, so there is no shortage of fish to eat, so the price is naturally not high," Village Chief Zhou said. After saying this, I sighed in my heart. Aren't there any foreign merchants coming to collect it? In the early years, foreign businessmen also came to collect, but when foreign businessmen came in, the taxes were high. When we transported it to the city, we had to be peeled off by the tax collectors. We asked for high prices, and foreign businessmen were not happy. If they could not make money, foreign businessmen would naturally not coming. Sukingyu nodded. He glanced at Lu Bachan. Lu Bachan then asked, "Old man, my wife is still waiting to eat fresh food. Did you just say that you have a fishing boat and went to sea today? I wonder if there will be fresh catch today." Village Chief Zhou smiled bitterly and said, "We make a living by fishing, how can we not have fishing boats?" Originally, every family had fishing boats, but later, the policemen would always come to collect taxes when we came ashore. We haven't caught them yet. Once they were brought ashore, they were harvested, and even if they had good catches, they would take away a lot of them. Gradually, many people in the village left the village to make a living, and there were not many fishing boats left. Lu Bachan frowned. Are there still people who come here every day to collect fishing taxes? They have come less frequently in the past 2 years. They used to come almost every day, and they would pop up every time a fishing boat docked. Someone echoed, "It seems that we haven't come here a few times this year. I heard that our Haizu has changed its owner. If we don't come here in the future, then our life will be easier." Seeing Lu Bachan frowning, Sukingnao looked at village chief Zhou. "Isn't the fish tax collected when you go to the city to trade? Why did you come to the beach to collect it?" "That is to say, we collect one line at the beach, and we pick another one into the city. We fight in the sea, wind, and rain, risking our lives, and we can't make any money. Who is willing to risk going to sea? And sometimes, if we can't collect good things, we plan to keep the food for ourselves, and they will collect taxes. We don't trade. And it's not like we don't pay a small tax every year." The villagers present saw that the nobleman was very easy to talk to, and they all expressed their dissatisfaction. The caught fish couldn't be sold for any money, so they had no choice but to eat it at home. But they live by the sea and have been fishermen for generations. The land by the sea is also barren and they cannot harvest anything. They cannot make money from fishing and have no food. They are getting poorer and poorer as time goes by. Dabao and Xiaobao felt sympathetic after hearing this. "Mom, I think their things are quite good. Let's buy more and send some to Grandpa and Grandma." Sukingyu looked at her 2 sons and nodded, "Okay." The villagers became even more happy after hearing this. Caiya's mother was filled with excitement as she held the one tael of silver in her hand. She didn't believe in such a good thing just now, and she didn't get much from the catch at home. Now she looked at the money in her hand, thinking about how much more the dried fish and sea vegetables at home could be sold for. Caiya was pinched so hard by her mother that she raised her head to remind her, but when she saw her mother trembling with excitement while holding the silver coin, she pursed her lips. She was so happy that her family finally had money. The village chief's house also sold it for 2 taels of silver, and he was very excited and said, "Noble sir, you still have some at home. I wonder if you want more." Sukingyu nodded, "If you still have such quality, I will." Village Chief Zhou was so happy that he couldn't even speak clearly. "Don't worry, noble man. I will definitely keep an eye on them and bring you the best goods." "Good." Sukingyu responded while instructing Guo and others to collect all the seafood. "Is your nobleman setting up a tent? Let's help you too." Without waiting for Sukingyu and others to agree, he led the villagers to take action. With the help of everyone in Lishan village, the camp was quickly set up. The village chief and others were stunned. "I thought that the conditions would be difficult in the wild, so I wanted to persuade the nobles to live in their village, but when I saw this tent, it was better than the house they lived in. It had beds, quilts, pillows, quilts, and even a coffee table. This is what people call life." All the villagers were stunned. "It's back, the fishing boat in the village is back," several children shouted excitedly with sharp eyes. If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bh Yaoye 11U. Chapter 455. Two fishing boats from the village docked. A dozen men on board jumped off the shallow water and dragged the fishing boats to the shore. Villagers on the shore also pulled on the boat ropes to help with the dragging. It was the first time for Dabeo, Xiaobeo, and others to see a fishing boat docking at the port. They were very curious and gathered around the beach. When a dozen men saw a group of strangers coming to the shore, they all froze and their men stopped moving. "Dad, they are just here for fun, not to collect fishing taxes," Siwa shouted to his father. The village chief also nodded to his son, and the fishing boat started moving again. "So many catches today. Wow." Sukingyu saw from a distance that the two fishing boats were deep in water. It seemed that they had a good harvest today, and she was looking forward to it. The two fishing boats were fixed, and the catches on the boats were moved down one by one. The villagers in Lishan village ran to help. "Wow, Mom, there are so many things. What is this?" Sukingyu and Lu Bachan also gathered around with several children to watch. There were fish, shrimps, crabs, squid, cuttlefish, snails, and shells in the basket. There were many varieties, and everyone was stunned. "My lord, come and take a look. Is there anything you need?" Village Chief Zhou greeted Sukingyu, Lu Bachan, and others. The villagers in Lishan village looked at Sukingyu and others expectantly. If the nobles are interested, then they don't have to go to the city at night. Sukingyu picked a lot from various baskets, and wanted some of various varieties. Sukingyu kept most of the catch, except for some that were not in good condition and were too small. "My lord, do you want to buy so much? If you can't finish it today, it won't be fresh tomorrow." Village Chief Zhou was very happy when he saw that the nobles picked up most of the boat's catch. Although he was happy to get the money, he couldn't help it, so he gave a kind reminder. "I'm worried that the nobles are pitying them. There are 20 or 30 of them, and they can't eat so much. It won't be fresh tomorrow." Sukinjao smiled at him and said, "It's okay. If you can't finish it, we'll bake it in the evening, dry it, and dry it into dried food to take back." Village Chief Zhou was very happy. "Okay. Thank you, sir." "Thank you, sir." The dozen or so men who went fishing today were also very happy. The nobleman bought so much, and they could share more money. The next step is to discuss the prices of these things. It was the first time for Sukingyu and others to buy such fresh seafood, and the price was not very clear. Finally, the village chief said that it would be enough to give him 8 liang. Sukingyu looked at more than a dozen baskets of seafood. Each basket weighed dozens of kilograms. There were about 10 kinds of fish, and they were also big in size. The shrimps, crabs, and squids were all very big. How much did these only cost? 8 taels. He was stunned for a moment. "I'll give you 10 taels, and you can help us with it. We'll pick out some that we'll eat later, and you can help us scale and remove the debris from the rest, wash and cut them, and then help us apply salt and dry them. In your village, do you have a dustpan? Bring us some, and some straw ropes." Yes, all of these are available." "Thank you, noble sir. We will take care of it for you now." Village Chief Zhou was very happy when he received the 10 taels of silver. He asked the women standing beside him to stay and help, and asked a few men to go back and get the drying tools and some sea salt. The villagers in Lishan village all had smiles on their faces. "It's great. The nobleman gave me 10 taels, so I didn't have to go to the city to pick them up. I got money right at my doorstep. It was much better than before. Moreover, there is still some left on the ship, and each family can share a share, so that the whole family can have something fresh. It would be great if I could get 10 taels every day." Nail Mountain village is no longer suffering from poverty. The villagers help dispose of it at the beach. The discarded debris can also be thrown back into the sea without worrying about attracting wild animals and flies. Just carry it ashore the second time and wash it again with fresh water. Sukingnao also asked several women to help pry open the other half of the shell with iron pieces for the clams she originally bought, and then discarded them. Only half of the shell and flesh were left. They had just been dug out and needed to be raised to remove the sand. But if Sukingyu wanted to eat fresh ones, she could only pry open the shells, clean them and remove the sand, so she could eat fresh ones. Dabeo, Xiaobeo, Xiaoqi Yitang, and others all gathered around and asked, "What is this and what is that?" very curious. My mother said these are so delicious, my mouth is already watering. On the shore, the tent was set up, the iron pot and the grill were also set up. Sukingyu is going to take matters into her own hands and cook a seafood feast for everyone. 4 large clams, remove the shell on one side and leave the meat in the shell on the other side. Put it on the grill, add the sauce, add minced garlic, and brush it with oil again. The juice will bubble up, and the fragrance will spread for thousands of miles. It attracted all the children who were watching the villagers handling the catch on the beach. "Mom, it smells so good." Xiaoqi was held by her elder brother, swallowing hard. Qingxing picked up a roasted clam, put it on the plate and handed it to her. The little girl didn't care about burning it. She pinched the edge of the shell, blew on it, poured juice into her mouth, sucked the juice, and picked out the meat to eat. "It smells so good that my feet jump. It's delicious." Xiaoqi wants more. It was also the first time for the children in Lishan village to see a distinguished person come to play at the beach and even sleep on the beach. They refused to go home and watched from a distance. Seeing that they usually threw the clams in the water and boiled them, but they set fire to roast the worthless clams that were full of sand in their mouths. Several children kept sniffing and swallowed hard. "Put so much oil and minced garlic, it must be delicious. I will make it the same way next time." "How dare you use so much oil? I'm afraid your mother is going to break your legs. It smells delicious. I really want to eat it." He licked it again and again. Sukingyu saw a circle of children gathered around. Their eyes were staring and they felt a little sour. It was not a valuable thing, so she called a few children over to eat. "Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's so delicious. We don't bring much garlic. Do you have any in your village? If so, we can buy some from you." "Yes, yes, I will help you go back to the village to collect it." Siwa volunteered after eating 2 clams, feeling satisfied. "Okay, then help me go back to the village to collect some. When you come, I will treat you to something else." "Okay," Siwa just spoke, feeling a little regretful. Even if he couldn't eat it, he could just inhale the aroma. Unexpectedly, the nobleman said that he would be invited to eat something else. I was so happy that I immediately ran to the village. "Hey, I haven't given you any money yet. Wait until I get back and get it." Without looking back, the figure disappeared in a flash. The nobles are not those who collect fishing taxes. I just bought most of their boatloads of fish without blinking an eye. The nobles will not rely on their money. The 4th baby ran very fast. After Lu Bachan and the others finished eating the clams, fish, squid, shrimps and crabs were put on the grill to grill. The freshly caught seafood is already very fresh and has a salty taste. Just brush it with a layer of oil, and the sweat will come out, and the fragrance will make everyone gather around. Several guards and entourage helped to bake while eating. Xiaobeo, Dabeo, Xiaoqi and other children also didn't move a step, staring straight at it, eating around the grill. "Too delicious. Sister, let's stay a few more days." "Auntie, this is the first time Yiteng has eaten these seafood. Is it tasty?" "Too delicious. Teng said it's delicious, so let's stay a few more days." "Okay, Mom, I'll eat it tomorrow. Xiao Qi jumped up and down happily. If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bha Xiaoye 11U. Chapter 456. The seafood dinner Sukingyu had in the evening remained in the memories of Dabeo, Xiaobeo, Xiaoqi, and others. It also remains in the memory of the villagers of Lishan village. Many years later, whenever we think of this scene, everyone is filled with gratitude. We ate one round of grilled ones, all kinds of boiled ones, and another round of stir-fried ones, including boiled prawns, stir-fried crabs with onion and ginger, stir-fried squid rolls with ginger, and stir-fried clams. Everyone was so satisfied. The Lishan villagers and children who were watching were all in for a treat. I didn't expect that the seafood they catch on weekdays can be so delicious. They usually just cook it and eat it, which is a waste of ingredients. It's the noble people who know how to eat. Too delicious. This is the first time I have eaten such delicious seafood. Sukingyu and Lu Bachan were full and walked hand in hand on the beach to eat. There are stars in the sky, the sound of waves crashing on the shore is heard in my ears, and my lover is by my side, tender and caring. Madam, thank you. No need thank me. Thank you for coming to me. Sukinjeo smiled, thank you too, I only pretend to be a woman in my heart. Lu Bachan touched her forehead, in this life, the next life, and the next life, you will be the only woman in my heart. Sukingyu looked at him steadily and saw that the burning and strong emotion in his eyes was about to overflow. My heart was filled with emotion. Standing on tiptoes, she pecked him on the lips. That's it, Lu Bachan was a little dissatisfied. Pulling her towards him, intending to go deeper, Sukingyu turned around and ran away with a smile. Come back. You are only responsible for raising the fire, not extinguishing it, you bad woman. Lu Bachan chased after her. Qingxing pulled Pei Ji and followed him from a distance, feeling envious in her heart. It was the first time that Pei Ji was led by Qingxing outside like this, and he felt a little embarrassed. But Qingxing had no intention of letting go, and Pei Ji let her hold her hand, feeling a little surprised in his heart. Pei Ji, Sukingyu stopped and looked at him. Can you also imitate my brother-in-law from now on? I don't know how to do martial arts. Who wants you to learn martial arts? Qingxing stamped her feet. I want you to learn from my brother-in-law and only treat my sister well. You are not allowed to look at other women or like other women. You can only have me in your eyes and heart. After speaking, he looked at him uneasily, waiting for his reply. It can only be you. Can't you? Qingxing looked at him with wide eyes. Just waiting for him to say he didn't want to, she punched him twice. But I was also a little nervous. Where's Grandpa? Grandfather doesn't count. I mean women, idiot. Good. Huh, should he be so quick? Qingxing couldn't believe it, really. Really. I like the relationship between my sister and my brother-in-law. It's relaxed and simple. In our family, wives and concubines used to compete for favor, and there were so many things going on in the house that I was annoyed. In the future, we will also be the sister-in-law and brother-in-law, just the two of us. That's what you said, don't go back on it. No regrets. Qingxing looked at him and smiled. Suddenly he stood up on tiptoes and pecked him on the lips, then ran away. Pei Ji was stunned, his ears burning. He looked around in panic and breathed a sigh of relief when no one saw them. She felt happy again and a little bit excited. Wait for me. Chao Qingxing chased after her. On the beach, Dabeo, Xiaobeo and others were digging for sand crabs with the children from Lishan village, chasing them all over the beach and making a fuss. The beach was bustling with people, and the shouts were loud. There has never been such a lively scene in Lishan village. Not only the children, but also many adults are watching from a distance. This night, the children, who had been making trouble all day, did not feel uncomfortable at all. They fell asleep quickly with the sound of waves and the smell of sea water. The next day, after having a steaming meal of seafood porridge and leaving the escorts to look after the tents, carriages, and drying seafood, Sukingyu and Lu Bachan took everyone to Lishan village. Several other states under Lu Bachan's jurisdiction now have pillar industries, and Haizu has already taken possession of them, but it has obviously not developed yet. In later generations, Haizu was a major fishing province, an important coastal port city, an important hub of the maritime Silk Road, and rich in fishery resources. Now Haizu is also under Lu Bachan's jurisdiction. Lu Bachan and Sukingyu felt uncomfortable seeing the fishermen on the beach having a hard time. The group was led by village chief Zhou into Lishan village. Everyone knew from yesterday that a group of noble people came to the beach, so the villagers were not panicked. Some people who had never seen it stood at a distance and watched Sukingyu and his group. "Mom, their house is so shabby." Zioki was surprised to see the houses built with rocks, which were short and dilapidated. Xiaoqi, come and hug her. Dabao was afraid that Xiaoqi would say something again and embarrass the villagers, so he hurriedly picked her up. Dabao hugged Zioki and walked with Xiaobao. He looked at the dilapidated and poor village, at the villagers wearing patched clothes, and at the children in the village who didn't even have a pair of shoes on their feet. He was very shocked. These years, I have lived a comfortable life with my mother and grandfather, but I didn't expect that there were so many poor people in places that I couldn't see. This is still under my father's jurisdiction, and there is no place to fight in Taiping. If it were other places, I don't know what would happen. Sukingyu asked Guo and Yubai to give some cakes and candies to some young children, and the children repeatedly thanked them. Everyone felt sour in their hearts when they saw the children eagerly putting the candies and cakes into their mouths and eating them in small bites, looking like they were enjoying themselves. Sukinjao followed the village chief around the village and also visited the homes of villagers who had harvests. Originally, she only wanted to buy some high-quality seafood to give away to others or eat for herself, but after seeing the situation in Lishan village, Sukingyu bought everything as long as it was of decent quality. Lu Bachan said that the 200,000-strong army consumes a lot of money in a month, and these cheap and affordable sea goods can be bought and sent to the army. Sukingyu thought so and decided to make a big purchase. Military lieutenants also need to maintain a balanced nutrition. Eating some seafood can also supplement some nutrients needed by the human body such as protein and calcium. During this trip to the village, she almost emptied out all the Lishan villagers' inventory. Every family got a lot of money. The villagers were so excited that they could survive this year. They all thanked Sukingyu and others. "My lord, do you still need these dry goods? My parents' family is in the next village, and they also have a lot of seafood. If you want it, I. Sukingyu thought for a while and nodded. "If the quality is the same as yours, we all want it." "Thank you, noble man." "Don't worry, noble man, I will definitely ask them to bring the best." After saying that, the woman ran away. Other villagers, who had relatives and in-laws in nearby villages, also ran to report the news. "My lord, I am very happy that you can help our village, but if you buy so much, if. Village chief Zhou was firstly happy that the village had eliminated so much inventory at once, and secondly, he was worried that the nobleman was just acting on a whim and was afraid that if he transported it back, he would not be able to eat it after a long time, he would throw it away and waste it. The old man felt distressed. Sukingyu and Lu Bachan looked at each other and said, "Don't worry, old man, our money was not blown by the strong wind. Since we bought it, we can use it. It just so happens that my husband and I have something to ask you about." "Woolen cloth." "My lord, please tell me." "I will definitely tell you everything I know, and I will tell you everything I know. If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bha 11U. Chapter 457. Sukingyu and Lu Bachan saw that the head of Lishan village had some knowledge and his conversation was different from ordinary villagers, so they planned to learn some information from him. He took him to his camp. First, they asked him about the fish tax, and then about the villagers' sources of daily income. After listening to what he said, Sukingyu and Lu Bachan had a rough understanding of the situation in these fishing villages by the sea. "Old man, how many villages like yours are there around here? How do their situations compare to yours?" "Let me tell you, along this coastline, there are more than 20 large and small villages around our village. For generations, they have made a living by going out to sea to fish. We are relatively close to Haizhu, and we can survive the day. If we have to go down, life in the counties below Haizhu will be even more difficult. A few years ago, we were the people of Dashuo. Dashuo had been recruiting soldiers for many years. In order to avoid military service, all the young and strong men fled south. Only the old, weak, women and children were left in the village. Originally, every family had a fishing boat, and everyone it was sold and there were not many left. Later, Dashuo fell, and we became subjects of the Liang dynasty again. The Liang dynasty rarely came to recruit troops from us, but the fishing tax was heavy. The catch we caught was not as much as what they paid. In the end, everyone they don't want to go to the sea anymore. But in the past 2 years, I heard that we have changed our owners again and have become the subjects of Genhai Jidashi. In the past 2 years, fewer people have come to collect fishing taxes, and our lives have been a little better. But now even if we transport the harvest to the city, we can't get much money, and life has been so hard. Originally, our Haizhu harvest was abundant, and many foreign businessmen came to collect it, but later there were less. I have no way of selling it, and I can't sell it to other places, so it won't be enough to be robbed by bandits on the road." After village chief Zhou left, Lu Bachan sat and thought about it for a long time, then called Qingyang and asked him to go to Haizhu to check the collection of fishing taxes in recent years. When Dabao and Xiaobao heard this, they also wanted to follow. Lu Bachan agreed. The 3 uncles and nephews went to Haizhu Yamen with a few followers. After they left, Lu Bachan called Pei Qi again. Pei Ji has only followed his grandfather Pei Shi all these years, training beside him, and has no specific duties. Pei Shi originally wanted to wait until he got married before asking Lu Bachan for a job. So now he is still at ease. "Brother-in-law." Lu Bachan agreed and said, "From now on, you will report to the military commissary office and be responsible for searching, collecting grain and supplies, collecting, deploying, and distributing military pay, etc." Ah, why was he suddenly appointed? Could it be that my sister interceded with her brother-in-law? Look at Sukingyu. Seeing Pei Ji's confused look, Sukingyu said, "Now the economic situation of the other states under your brother-in-law has improved, and each state has its own economic pillar industry. But in Haizhu, you also saw it when we came, the city can't even keep up with Suzhu's 30% liveliness. Look at Lishan again. Their catch is very good, but the fishermen on the seaside are still suffering from poverty due to lack of channels and means. The tax revenue paid by Haizhu in the past 2 years is pitiful." Pei Ji nodded. He has seen all these situations. Haizhu is next door to Suzhu. Every household in Suzhu has a surplus of food, but the people in Haizhu don't even have a single piece of clothing to cover their bodies. "What does brother-in-law need from me?" Lu Bachan said casually, "In the future, you will bring people to buy the catch from Haizhu and supply it to the army. Then we will cooperate with the Haizhu Yamen to build several post stations along the line between the 2 states, and open a seafood store in Suzhu City and Haizhu. The shop was opened in the name of the Military Supplies Department, and part of the marine goods collected were supplied to the army, and part of them were sold to foreign merchants, and the money earned was used as military pay." Pei Qi understood. If they purchased fish from Haizu fishermen on a regular basis every month, their lives would soon be better. Yes, he responded loudly. After Pei Zhi got this position, he immediately contacted village chief Zhou. He also personally led people to select the seafood brought by nearby villagers, and asked village chief Zhou and others for advice on how to distinguish the quality of the goods. After Qing Xing found out, she came to see Su Qingyu. Sister, you and your brother-in-law entrust him with such a big task, can he do it well? Can't you have some confidence in him? I have confidence in him. But he has never done anything like this. He has never taken over the matter of money and food. I'm afraid that he won't be able to do it, and it will delay my brother-in-law's affairs. No one is born with it. This matter affects the military and the people of a state. If done well, the economy of Haizu, a large coastal state, will take off, and the taxes paid will also increase year by year. Your brother-in-law doesn't have to worry about military expenses and the lives of the people in Haizu. Besides, it's quite appropriate to leave this matter to Pei Zhi. He is one of our own, and he won't make small moves inside, seek personal gain, or form cliques. Your brother-in-law can also worry less. Qing Xing immediately patted her chest and said, Brother-in-law, please rest assured. Pei Zhi is one of our own, and he will only be devoted to brother-in-law. If he does something inappropriate, I will not let him go. Su Qingjiao couldn't help but laugh. Okay, then you tell him to do a good job. When your brother-in-law came to Haizu this time, he also saw that among the states, Haizu's tax revenue was at the bottom every year. He took advantage of the opportunity to visit in private. Otherwise, other states would be like this. Being rich, Haizu suffers from poverty, and your brother-in-law feels uncomfortable too. Sister, please rest assured, brother-in-law. I will definitely let Pei Zhi do a good job. After looking around, he asked, Hey, where is my brother-in-law? Your brother-in-law took people to check the surrounding area. When Lu Bachan came back in the evening, he saw various sacks piled around the camp. Knowing that they were the seafood collected today, he picked some up and opened them to take a look. See, the quality is very good. When I asked, I didn't spend much money and I was satisfied. Su Qingyu gave him some water to wash his hands and served him dinner. Where have you been this afternoon? Lu Bachan replied while taking rice into his mouth, I looked at various fishing villages along the coastline. I also made inquiries privately to understand the situation. If we want to vigorously develop Haizu's fishery, the environment must first be safe. In addition to the political integrity of the Yamen, no corruption, no arbitrary fees, and no arbitrary collection of fishery taxes, we must also ensure that no pirates come to plunder. There are pirates, Su Qingyu was stunned. There are bandits on the road, bandits in the mountains, and there are no pirates on the seaside. There are always some people who are idle and want to get something for nothing. Are pirates rampant? Are there many? I asked village chief Zhou and other villages that there have been fewer pirates in recent years. There are fewer people going to sea, and all the young men have been captured by the army. The fishing tax has also been harsh, and the catch has been small. There is no profit for the pirates. But if we vigorously develop Haizu's fishery, I'm worried that pirates will come to rob the village again. I have learned that these pirates seem to appear suddenly from the sea. No one knows where their base is. They not only rob ships at sea, but also rob nearby villages. After robbing, they flee into the sea. Su Qingjiao frowned after hearing this. If pirates become rampant, they may not be able to maintain the fishery industry if they vigorously develop it. But we cannot let Haizu continue to suffer from poverty just because we are afraid of pirates. What are you going to do? If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bhao 11U. Chapter 458. Seeing Sukingyu asking questions, Lu Bachan finished cooking, took her to the beach to eat, and then expressed his thoughts. I'm going to create a maritime army. Marine army? Split the troops here. Lu Bachan shook his head. No, the war between Jin and Liang is fierce now, and local forces are divided. I have to prevent them from swallowing up my Jinhai. The division of troops will weaken the strength. I plan to select people from the young men of the nearby fishing villages. Choose people from the young people in the fishing village. Yes. Firstly, they are good at water and are familiar with the nearby sea routes. Secondly, they protect their own homeland. It is best to use them to guard against pirates. They will not spare any effort and those with different intentions. The idea is good. But they can't use force, right? This is easy to solve. I will send people to train them. In this way, we can train them. After the second class has trained them, they will be absorbed into our military force. They can fight pirates at sea and fight foreign enemies on the shore. Kill two birds with one stone. Will they agree? It will delay them from fishing to make money. They will agree. The young and strong have to perform corvée and conscription every year. Firstly, I don't want them to go to the battlefield, and secondly, I don't want them to build canals and city walls. I only use them to protect their homes, and I don't want them to work every day. Floating on the sea, I work 2 shifts, one shift works for half a day, and I can also help with household chores for half a day. Moreover, I will pay them military salary every month. If my family members are serving in the military, I will also provide them with some conveniences. Besides, it's dangerous for them to fish and float on the sea. I recruited them to prevent pirates. Although they are also floating on the sea, they can't compete with pirates every day, and the risk is still low. They mainly focus on defense and expulsion. If you really have to fight hard, the nearby teams will come to support you. They have a fixed monthly salary, so there will be people who can do it. After Lu Bachan finished speaking, he saw that Sukingyu just looked at him without speaking, thinking that he had made a mistake somewhere. Madam, do you think it's inappropriate? Sukingyu shook her head. She just didn't expect that Lu Bachan would really grow into the leader of a force that controlled several states. There are gaps in my chest and my own thoughts. I think, husband, you are getting more and more powerful. I like you more and more. What should I do? Lu Bachan was unexpectedly confessed by his wife, and he was extremely surprised. Madam, are you serious? Do you really like your husband more and more? Sukingyu nodded, really. Lu Bachan was so excited that he hugged Sukingyu and spun her around a few times. Madam, my husband also likes you the most, I like you the most. Xiao Qi, who was digging for sand crabs behind her cousin and others, saw her from a distance and ran over. Dad, Dad, Xiao Qi also wants to be hugged, and Xiao Qi also wants to spin around. The couple looked at their little daughter running towards them and couldn't help laughing. This girl. When Qingyang returned from Haizhu City with Dabao Xiaobao and others, he brought Lu Bachan's account books in recent years and detailed the collection of fishing taxes in these years. Lu Bachan looked through the account books and listened to the investigation results from Qingyang and others, and he had an idea in his mind. I made some plans in the tent at night, and the next day I took Qingyang Dabao and Xiaobao to the city, and worked with officials from the Haizhu Yamen to recustomize the collection standards and rules based on the fishing tax situation. After everything was done, we took everyone back to the beach that night. At night, the couple lay in bed. Madam, I plan to leave the matter of building a navy in Haizhu to Qingyang. Sukingyu was stunned. Leave it to Qingyang? He is not yet 20 years old. If you ask him to take charge of such a big thing, can he convince the public? I have observed Qingyang in the past few days. When he went to Haizu, how he dealt with officials, and how he handled things, I felt that he did a very good job and was very sophisticated. He was in the army before, and he worked with the colleagues also get along well. He himself is also skilled in martial arts, so I believe he can do this if he is asked to form a navy. They are just some young men on the beach who have no martial arts skills. He can handle it. What's more, the war between Jin and Liang is fierce now, and the war will soon reach our Jinhai. Put Qingyang in Haizu. It is to ensure his safety. If anything happens to Qingyang, I am afraid that my father-in-law and mother-in-law will not let me go. Secondly, if there is an emergency in the future, Haizu will be our retreat. You mean at sea? Su Qingyu didn't expect that Lu Bachan had already thought of a way out. Lu Bachan nodded. I can rest assured that I will leave this retreat to Qingyang. Su Qingyu thought for a long time and then agreed. She knew that Qingyang wanted to make some achievements and get rid of everyone's perception that he was a related party. If Qingyang is placed in Haizu, he will lose some opportunities. You should talk to Qingyang about this matter. The next day, Lu Bachan went to find Qingyang. I talked with Qingyang for a long time, and I thoroughly discussed the pros and cons with him. Don't worry, brother-in-law, Qingyang will definitely take care of this matter. Lu Bachan patted him on the shoulder. Well, I'll leave the matter to you, brother-in-law, don't worry. After things were done and the time to leave was not short, Su Qingyu planned to return to Suzhou. I took a few children to play happily at the beach for a long time. I also took them out on a boat and went fishing on the sea. The children all caught a lot of fish and were very happy. After having a great time, everyone packed up and prepared to go home. It was so grand when they arrived, and when they left, they hired a dozen carriages in Haizu city to transport the sea goods, making it even more grand. The adults and children of Lishan village were seeing each other off at the roadside. A few children had fun with Zioki and the others and were reluctant to leave. When will you come back? When my parents are free, we will come. Your Excellency, welcome to come again next time. Village Chief Zhou was reluctant to leave. Every family has made a lot of money these days. It would be great if noble people came to buy their seafood from time to time. Don't worry, we'll see you soon, Qingyang said to Village Chief Zhou. Village Chief Zhou was stunned. He only thought that the nobleman was speaking kindly, but he didn't expect that he would see this young master again within a few days. Since then, great changes have taken place in Lishan village. In the evening, the group entered Haizu city and stayed in the courtyard arranged for them by the Haizu governor. Dabeo, Xiaobeo and others couldn't sit still and went to visit Haizu city. We visited various shops and bought a lot of things to take back to Suzhou. I passed a middle-aged man on the road. The man stared at Dabeo blankly for a long time, and when Dabeo had walked about 10 meters, he suddenly rushed over. He held Dabeo's arm tightly and stared at him. Young master, is your surname Li? Dabeo was shocked and didn't know how to react. He just stared at him blankly. Xiaobeo frowned and brushed away his hand. You have recognized the wrong person. This is my brother. Our surname is Lu, not Li. He took Dabeo and turned around and left. Your surname is Lu? The man stared at Dabeo's back as he walked further and further away, as if you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bhaya 11U. Chapter 459. Dabeo's heart was pounding. After returning to the yard, Xiaobeo ran to play with Zioki without taking it seriously. Dabeo was very confused and ran to find Su Qingyu. You're back. What did you buy? Su Qingyu was packing her things when she saw her eldest son coming in and asked. Mother. What's wrong? Seeing that the eldest son looked wrong, Su Qingyu stopped what he was doing. When Dabeo came up, he hugged Su Qingyu tightly and hugged his mother. He was no longer so panicked. Mom, A man just grabbed me on the street and asked me if my surname was Li. What? Sukingyu was a little surprised. What kind of person is he? She has been raising Dabeo for 8 years. Dabeo is no longer the same as when he was a child. Instead, he is raised with Xiaobeo and the two brothers, and the two brothers become more and more similar. How come someone still recognizes him now? Dabeo then described the man. Mom, what should I do? Dabeo was a little confused. It's okay, don't panic. Sukingyu's mind was spinning rapidly. Seeing that Dabeo was a little flustered, he calmed down and reassured him, it's okay, don't worry. Your grandfather has cleaned up all your affairs, and no one will find out. Maybe that person just thinks that you are somewhat similar to the old person in the past. Just come here to inquire, as long as we don't recognize him. It's been 8 years, and we can't draw any conclusions based on his appearance. She stroked his back and saw that he relaxed a lot, and then said, you are so generous, just ignore me and deny it. Your surname is Lu now, and your name is Lu Weizao. Do you remember? Dabeo looked at his mother, his heart suddenly calmed down, and he nodded towards his mother. Good boy, don't be afraid. You have a father and a mother. You are still young and do not have the ability to protect yourself. Even if the other person has good intentions and is on your side, you cannot recognize him. No one in the world is nice to you for no reason. Yes, there are always some purposes of your own, even if they are old friends and relatives in the past, you can't recognize them now, remember. Mom, remember this. We in Zhenhai are still inconspicuous among several forces, so we can't cause trouble. Yes. One is that you can't cause trouble, and the other is that you are still young and can't do anything. Do you remember? When you were a child, your mother told you that when you are 18 years old, you can tell your mother whether you want revenge. Remember? Dabeo nodded, Mom, I remember it. My current surname is Lu, and my name is Lu Weizao. He is the biological son of father and mother. Yes. You have to remember this. Mom, I remember. I'm going to find my brothers and sisters over there. Okay, go ahead. After Dabeo left, Sukingyu sat in a daze for a while. Who is looking for Dabeo? Is it an enemy or an old acquaintance from the past? She didn't forget that there was something hot in her hand. That thing was well hidden by her. I have never taken it out and looked at it in these years, not once. If people know that Dabeo is in her hand, that thing is also in her hand. Zhenhai may become a place where various forces compete. When the war breaks out, what is the purpose of all she does to develop the economy and support the pillar industries of each state's economy? By then all this will be in vain. Cannot. Even if he is a blood relative of Dabeo, he cannot recognize him as one of his own. Otherwise, there will be endless troubles. Should I tell Lu Bachan? Lu Bachan's current battle strategy is relatively mild, and he is only slightly more offensive than Ma Mingwen. He doesn't have much ambition. He mainly focuses on defense and doesn't think much about fighting for territory. Is this good or bad? The Liang dynasty is now in decline, mainly due to years of wars, huge military expenditures, and years of conscription. As a result, no one is cultivating the fields, and fertile fields have turned into wasteland. If this goes on for a long time, social conflicts will inevitably intensify. Zhenhai is now developing people's livelihood economy while defending itself. It is growing slowly and the country it has built can be preserved. This may be the best for the people and Zhenhai. If Lu Bachan is informed of Dabeo's identity, what if Lu Bachan changes his battle strategy and switches from defense to offense? What if he misses? So where will this big family go? But don't you tell Lu Bachan? Will he blame her if he finds out in the future? Sukingyu had a headache. It had been 8 years, why did such a person suddenly appear and disturb her heart? Madam, it's time to come out for dinner. Lu Bachan's voice came, and someone walked in. Seeing that Su Qingyu didn't respond and just looked at him blankly, Lu Bachan touched his face and walked over to hug her. Madam, what's wrong with you? Are you too tired? Are you exhausted these days? Then let's eat early, rest early, and return to Suzhou early tomorrow morning. Su Qingyu came back to her senses and nodded to him, okay. Then let's go to bed early at night. Okay, I won't make trouble with you that night. Let me, madam, have a good rest. Another nonsense. Su Qingyu glared at him. It's better to hide it. As long as Dabao doesn't admit it, no one can find out Dabao's identity. Early the next morning, everyone set out on the road. After walking on the road for several days, they finally returned to Suzhou. Finally arrived at home. We're home, we're home. Although the beach is fun, I still miss home. As soon as the children arrived at the door of the house, they jumped out of the car and rushed inside. Qingxing and Pei Ji also turned around and returned to their own homes. After being away from home for so many days, my grandfather probably missed them. Xiaoqi, are you back? Gu Changqing's son Saiki, as soon as he heard that Xiaoqi was back, he immediately had him sent here. Saiki, come quickly, I have brought you a lot of good things. Really? Xiaoqi, you are so kind. I want to see it. The two children played together again. Xian Niang also came with her son. Is this going to be fun? It's good. The children have learned a lot, Su Qingyu said, and picked up some interesting things to tell her. Xian Niang looked regretful. If I had known, I would have gone with you. I have never seen the sea. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. It's easy to walk on the road now, and it's very peaceful. When your parents have a vacation from now on, ask him to take you out to rest for a few days. That's great. When Shi is older, I will also ask him to take us mother and son to see the sea. After talking for a while, Su Qingyu asked someone to bring her some seafood. Xian Niang thanked her and took her son back, who refused to leave. After returning, Su Qingyu was busy with the internal affairs of the palace, while Lu Bachan went to the army and rested for several days. There was a mountain of military affairs waiting for him to deal with. Pei Qi also went to the military supplies department to report and began to work on Haizu's fishery affairs. Qingyang selected a group of people in the army, and after a few days' rest, he rushed to Haizu with his people to prepare for the establishment of a navy. Sir, you have come back. A few days ago, Weibo's lieutenant generals wanted to surrender to us. You didn't come back, so I didn't respond. I also wanted to show them off, so I didn't tell you the news. Jian Quan saw Lu Bachan. Feeling relieved. Tell me carefully. Yes. If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bhao 11U. Chapter 460. After Weibo's military envoy Yang Shihao passed away, Liang Emperor Wu Yuzhen was overjoyed and feared Weibo's army, so he planned to break it up and divide his troops into two towns. However, Weibo Jun refused, causing a mutiny. Therefore, Emperor Liang ordered Lu, a wise general known for his strategy, to lead an army of 60,000 to Weibo to control the situation. Weibo Jun killed the direct troops of the Liang dynasty in the city, and then asked Emperor Liang to maintain the status quo, but Emperor Liang refused. Weibo Jun turned around and threw an olive branch to Mu Yuxian of Jin. Mu Yuxian was overjoyed after receiving the tip and personally led his troops to Weibo, intending to occupy Weibo. Mu Yuxian first killed Zhang Yan and others, the general who led the mutiny, and then pardoned other soldiers from their responsibilities, and incorporated the Ya soldiers who initiated the mutiny into his own bodyguards. This kind of trust greatly moved Weibo's military households, and they surrendered one after another. This made Tuochuo's forces, which had always dominated the central plains with cavalry, become even more powerful. However, some Weibajun saw that Mu Yuxian had killed the general who led the mutiny, and because Weibajun had killed Mu Yuxian's brother in the previous battle with Jin, they were afraid that Mu Yuxian would have to settle the score with them due to this huge grudge. So some generals planned to defect to Lu Bachan. Firstly, Qian Quan wanted to see the fighting situation between Liang and Jin, and secondly, he wanted to show off these people. He did not send any news to Lu Bachan, who had previously visited Haizhu with his family. In the tent, Lu Bachan frowned after listening carefully to the analysis of Qian Quan and others. Come to him. Sincere or fake? Is it a prick on the head? Send someone to quietly bring the other party's people over. I want to inquire carefully. Yes. Soon, Weibajun General Lu Qi came to see Lu Bachan with several of his men. Lu Qi chose Lu Bachan after careful consideration. Although Zhenhai's sphere of influence is not large, over the years, Zhenhai's soldiers and horses have grown stronger, and the people live and work in peace and contentment. Even people from other places have moved to Zhenhai with their families. I heard that Lu Bachan has a very high reputation among the people. In addition, Suzhu is not far from Weibo and his hometown, so he can avoid leaving his hometown. Therefore, in addition to Liang Jin, Lu Bachan from Zhenhai became the first choice of some Weibo troops. Ruchi has met Lord Jidushi. General Lu, please rise. Lu Bachan personally helped Lu Qi and others up. Both parties looked at each other and were satisfied. In the military tent, Lu Bachan led a group of men and talked with Lu Qi and others for a long time. Zhen Haijun welcomes General Lu and other generals to join us. Thank you, sir. We will live up to your high expectations. Okay. Waiting to hear your success. Lu Bachan was overjoyed to receive the 30,000 soldiers and horses surrendered by Weibo, and held a banquet in the camp. After the banquet, 30,000 troops and horses were reorganized, and Lu Qi was still ordered to lead them. Sir, will there be any problems if you let Lu Qi lead them? Qian Quan and others were a little worried. It doesn't matter. At this time, we shouldn't send people to lead them. It will make the other party feel that we don't trust them. It will take a long time, so take your time. 30,000 soldiers and horses always need to eat and drink, and leading the army requires military pay. Lu Bachan didn't care at all. It's not his fault. Since they abandoned the Liang dynasty and had enmity with the Jin dynasty, who else could they seek refuge with besides his Zhenhai? As a result, Weibo's 100,000-strong army fell apart. Some surrendered to the Jin state, some remained in the Liang dynasty, and some joined the Zhenhai navy. Weibo town is located in the lower reaches of the Yellow River and is the only way for the Jin dynasty to go south. The defection in Weibo town allowed Mu Yuxian to occupy Weibo and immediately send his troops south. The vassal towns surrounding Weibo town became a tug-of-war between Jin and Liang. Lu Bachan returned to the house. After dinner, he asked Su Qingyu to help pack his luggage. Are we going to fight again? Lu Bachan nodded. Jin has gone south and is fighting Liang around Weibo. Kozhu is not well defended now. I plan to lead troops to capture Kozhu. This will prevent Jin and Liang from coming to Suzhu. There are iron mines in Suzhu, so the battle will be fought. The longer time goes by, the less weapons and equipment they will have. In order to prevent Suzhu from being attacked, I have to capture Kozhu as a defense. After hearing what he said, Su Qingyu also understood. As soon as Jin moved south, Suzhu became the first target of Jin and Liang. Once Jin and Liang merge into one, it will be difficult for Suzhu to resist no matter how thick the city wall is. If the state capitals around Suzhu are captured, Suzhu can also be given some buffer time. Okay, I'll clean it up for you right away. Etc. Lu Bachan pulled her and let her sit on his lap. He rested his head on Su Qingyu's shoulder and smelled the fragrance of her hair. I really don't want to leave my wife. Su Qingyu didn't want him to go to war either, Is there any danger in this trip? Don't worry, madam. The main force of Jin and Liang is around Weibo Coast, who doesn't have many troops. I can solve them with the 30,000 troops of Weibo who have come here this time. Don't worry, this battle won't take too long. But we have to be quick. Otherwise, if Wu State seizes the opportunity, we will have more setbacks. So you're leaving soon? Leave tomorrow morning. Su Qingyu was stunned. So fast? Madam, shall I send you and Xiaoqi to Jiangning? Otherwise, you can go to Yangzhou. I heard that the scenery there is very good and it is close to Master. It will be close to you if you want to go back to the mountains. You and Xiaoqi will wait for me there. The Jidushi government office is moving to Jiangning. It doesn't matter if you move there, in the center of Ji Town, you can advance, attack, retreat or defend. Unlike Suzhou, where several forces meet, it is more dangerous. Lu Bachan shook his head. I won't move in the next few years. Suzhou is too important, I have to guard it here. Then I'll be here with you. The Jiangning side is more stable than this side. You're not there. Lu Bachan felt excited after hearing this. Hugging Su Qingyu tightly. He really didn't want to fight, he just wanted to live a relaxed and peaceful life with his wife, son, and daughter. But you can't help but be wary of others. He wanted his wife and family to be safe and sound. Then I will capture Kozhou and the surrounding cities of Suzhou to ensure that you and your daughter can live safely in Suzhou. If Suzhou cannot be held in the future, we will have a way out when Qingyang clears the sea road to Haizhou. Su Qingyu comforted him, don't think so much. Your safety is better than anything else. I know. You just said that your daughter and I would move to Jiangning. Where are your two sons? Lu Bachan paused, not daring to look at her. Dabao and Xiaobao want to go with you. Lu Bachan was silent and nodded, yes. He also explained, there shouldn't be much danger in attacking Kozhou this time, and I asked them to follow me in the rear. I will keep an eye on them. Madam, don't worry. Lu Bachan gathered a lot of words to persuade Su Qingyu. But he found that after he finished speaking, the lady had no reaction. Lady. Then keep an eye on them. Madam, do you agree with them to come with me? Su Qingyu glared at him, I don't agree, why aren't they leaving yet? Sighing, they are older and have learned martial arts from Uncle Xian and their godfather. They can no longer hold back. They have their own ideas and I can't stop them. But they are still young and have not experienced anything. You have to send someone to watch them and don't let them get too excited. I'll feel bad if they get hurt. Don't worry, madam. They are all my sons. If anything happens to me, I won't let anything happen to them. Nothing can happen to you. Don't worry. My husband knows it. After saying that, he picked up Su Qingyu, hugged her horizontally, and walked to the bed. Su Qingyu patted him, I haven't packed your luggage yet. There's still time to clean up tomorrow morning. If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Madam, she has a tender heart. Author, Bh Yaoye 11U. Chapter 461. After Lu Bachan left with his two sons, Su Qingyu felt that the house suddenly became much quieter. Qingyang went to Haizhou, and she also arranged for Yi Ten to go to a private school. Now Xiaoqi was the only one in the house, and no one played with her. The little girl was wilting. Mother! What's the matter? The little girl threw herself into her arms without saying a word. Is it because Si didn't come today that Xiaoqi is bored? The little girl lay on her knees, twisted her body, and said muffledly, Brother, Daddy. Xiaoqi misses his brother and father. Su Qingyu picked her up and saw her lying listlessly on her shoulder. She thought for a moment and said, "Can you accompany Xiaoqi to see Grandpa?" The little girl's eyes lit up. "Are you going to Grandpa's house?" "Well, let's go to your grandpa's house first, and then Mom will take Xiaoqi to go shopping on the street, okay?" The little girl immediately became energetic, slid off her body, took her hand and dragged her out. "Mom, go quickly, go quickly." Suqingyu couldn't help but laugh. She was really bored in the house. After tidying up a bit and packing up some seafood brought back from Haizu, we went to Lu's house. When the guard boy saw that it was her, he was extremely enthusiastic. He welcomed them in and ran to report the news. Suqingyu looked at Lu Zai while walking inside. In the fourth courtyard, there are now many servant women everywhere, and there are also many flower pots in each courtyard, and the flowers and plants are well maintained. It has changed a lot since they moved in before. "Qing Lao, why are you here?" The eldest aunt and the younger aunt ran over wearing tofu shop clothes. "Come and see you. You are so busy every day and you still come to see us. Just say something and we will come over and see you. Come on, come and sit in the room. If I don't sit down anymore, I'll walk around." "That's okay. Then let's go for a walk with you." The two of them walked slowly around the mansion with Suqingyu, talking to her about the personnel in the mansion. "Your father is in the shop and is rarely at home during the day. Wu is not here either, he must have gone to the street." After Sun's two children went to private school, they were also in Bozu's private school during the day. Wei Wu went to school during the day. Mu is also in Baxiang's iron shop, and he's not here during the day either. Suqingyu nodded. The second room of the tofu shop is no longer involved, and they all have their own places to go during the day. Even if the Wu family and Sun family were idle, they never thought of coming here to earn a wage. Yes, there is no shortage of money for the second house now. "Qing Lao, why did you bring these sea goods again? You brought a lot when you just came back, and each room divided a lot, why do you bring them again?" The three of them, father and son, are not at home anymore. I was afraid that they would be damaged if they were left unattended, so I packed some for you. You and Xiaoqi can eat it slowly if you leave it alone, it won't go bad. It's okay, I still have it at home. And Qing Xing and his man occasionally come back with fresh goods. That's good. Your uncle and your father like to eat it very much, and the children in the family also like to eat it. No wonder people say, delicacies from the mountains and the sea, the food in the sea is so delicious. My family, Wei Ji, clamors to eat it every day. Aunt Ma said with a smile. Suqingyu also smiled. Wei Ji likes to eat, so I'll ask someone to send some over next time. He is training in the military now, so it's time for him to take more food. Then Wei Ji is going to be very happy. His current food intake is more than double that of his grandfather. This time Dabao and Xiaobao followed Bachan to Kozhu, and he murmured that he wanted to go too. Your uncle said, he was not good at it, and he was so angry that he was so angry. Now he rarely comes back at night, and he stays in the military camp for training. Every time he comes back, he says that the food at home is delicious. Suqingyu liked Wei Ji very much. He was a few months older than Xiaobao, but he was a head shorter than Xiaobao. After arriving in Suzhou, he first studied for a few years, and this year his family sent him to join the army. Now he has grown rapidly. Wei Ji is the only one left in the big house, and Lu Bachan does not agree with him entering the military camp. However, he liked it, so his uncle personally brought Wei Ji over to plead for mercy. Lu Bachan took him in and let him train with the new recruits in the military camp. Suqingyu followed the two of them to the tofu shop in the backyard, and met Bo Xiang's wife Yan again. Yan is the daughter of a local businessman in Suzhou. Her family's business is quite big. She fell in love with Bo Xiang and married him. Now her daughter is 1 year old. Cousin-in-law Mrs. Yan greeted Suqingyu. Su Qingyu smiled and nodded at her. Seeing that she was wearing the work clothes of the workshop, it was obvious that she was still working in the tofu shop just now, so he asked her, "Where is Huijia?" "The girl is here with her." "Zioki is here too?" "Then I will ask the girl to bring her to play with Zioki." He turned around and ordered the girl. After a while, Huijia was picked up by the nanny, and Zioki happily went to play with her sister. Su Qingyu took a look at the tofu shop. Seeing that a tofu shop has been built in the backyard, the workers and servants invited are busy. There are various soy products in the workshop, which are constantly being made and delivered. Apparently business is good. There are less fresh tofu being made now, right? Su Qingyu looked around and saw no fresh tofu. The aunt then said, "There are not enough fresh tofu made. Now there are many tofu shops opened outside, so we collect their fresh tofu and make thousands of dried tofu sticks, which can be sold to further places. If we are too busy making fresh tofu, your uncle and uncle said that we can't make enough money, so we should stop being so tired." Su Qingyu nodded, "Yes, money is important, but your body is even more important." Seeing that the big house and the third house are living better now, they have bought shops and farms, and they no longer have to worry about money. Su Qingnao and Lu Bachan are both happy for them. Su Qingyu stayed for more than an hour, chatted with them briefly, and then left with Xiaoqi. "Mom, Huijia is so funny. She walks like a big goose, waddling like this." The little girl couldn't help but imitate Huijia's walk. It made Su Qingyu and others laugh. "Miss, you walked like this when you were a child, and you still laughed at your sister." Xiaoqi was stunned, wrinkled her nose, and refused to admit it. "Humph, I didn't walk like this when I was a child." "Xiaobai, you must have remembered it wrong." Just as Xiaobai wanted to say that she remembered correctly, Mrs. Guo grabbed her and glared at her, saying she was too fussy, and tried to reason with the 3-year-old lady. Su Qingyu smiled at the two of them. He said to Mrs. Guo, "This Ningdong is already married to Lu Sheng. Does this Xiaobai want to be my old aunt?" Yubai blushed all of a sudden. "As an old aunt, I am an old aunt, as long as I am by madam's side." Mrs. Guo glared at her helplessly and shook her head at Su Qingyu. "This girl doesn't have anyone she likes, but I'm worried to death." "Then Mother Guo will help her take a look. She has to rely on herself. She doesn't know when she will be able to get married." "Yes," Guo responded. Xiaoqi immediately attacked her. "Yubai wants to be an old aunt," luring Yubai to chase her. "Miss, you see, she is just like a child who has not grown up. I'm afraid this marriage is still going to be tough and difficult. There are many bachelors in the army, so it's difficult. There are also many people asking to marry her. Please help her take a good look." "Yes. If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful. Madam, she has a tender heart." Author, Bhaya 11U. Chapter 462. The group of people left Lu's house and walked to the street, where they saw Lu Shenke walking down the street with a middle-aged man, talking and laughing. Xiaoqi had sharp eyes and waved to him, "Grandpa, Grandpa." "Xiaoqi," Lu Shenke was very happy to see Xiaoqi. He trotted towards Xiaoqi and picked her up. The grandfather and grandson bumped their foreheads, and Xiaoqi chuckled. "Is this the Jadushi's wife?" Zhao Jing has met her before. The middle-aged man walking with Lu Shenke hugged Su Qingyu. Lu Shenke introduced them to them. Su Qingyu nodded towards the other party as a greeting. "President Lu, since you have something to do, let's talk about it another day." "Okay, sorry for the neglect. I'll treat you to a drink tomorrow." "Okay, then I'll be waiting." After the middle-aged man left, Lu Shenke saw that Su Qingyu wanted to visit the iron shop, so he took Su Qingyu there. "Dad, are you doing well in the Chamber of Commerce business now?" When Lu Shenke saw her asking, he nodded happily. "It goes by the way." Everyone knows that I am Bocheng's father. Now that he is walking on the road, everyone looks up to him. We also get along smoothly with foreign merchants and the blacksmiths in Suzhou. Lu Shenke listened to Su Qingyu's suggestion and acted as a bridge between foreign merchants and local blacksmiths. He thought he was just a matchmaker. Unexpectedly, slowly, a chamber of commerce was established, and more shops joined in. Now this chamber of commerce has played a great role in stabilizing ironware prices in Suzhou, balancing the relationship between craftsmen and merchants, adjusting production capacity, and playing a great role in Suzhou's ironware business. This made Lu Bachan and Suzhou Yamen less worried. And Lu Shenke was respected by everyone, both high and low. When walking on the road, who wouldn't call him president? Regardless of whether he is sincere or not, many people are fawning over him. He thought about how difficult it was for Lu Bachan. He was busy every day and devoted himself to this task. In addition, he is fair and just in dealing with things, so blacksmith shops and foreign merchants love to look for him. Now that he has fame, fortune, and money, his second wife is also living a prosperous life. Even Lu Bozu's private school is not short of students. Lu Shenke's position as president went smoothly, and he himself was happy every day. Life was getting better, and Lu Shenke looked several years younger than when he first came to Suzhou. He was holding Xiaoqi and walking like a tiger, without breathing at all. Xiaoqi misses Grandpa. Think about it, Grandpa hasn't seen Xiaoqi for 2 days. It's Grandpa's fault. Grandpa has been busy entertaining the caravans from outside these 2 days and forgot to see Xiaoqi. Can Grandpa take Xiaoqi to watch a sideshow later? Okay, let's watch the fire-breathing and monkey show. Okay, Grandpa will take our Xiaoqi there in a moment. When I arrived at the Lu family's blacksmith shop, I saw people coming and going at the door. Lu Bozong and Mu were entertaining the merchants who came to purchase. The couple greeted each other very well. Sister-in-law, why are you here? Lu Bozong and Mu saw Su Qingyu coming and hurriedly came over to say hello. Su Qingyu nodded towards the two of them and smiled. Xiaoqi is bored at home, I will take her out for a walk. Lu Bozong then turned to tease Xiaoqi. Xiaoqi is bored at home? Can I take you to buy something delicious later? No, Grandpa will take Xiaoqi to see a sideshow and a monkey show later. Grandpa will buy some delicious food for Xiaoqi. Then Xiaoqi will come see your uncle tomorrow and your uncle will take you to play. Then I have to ask my mother tomorrow. The little girl looked like a little adult, which made everyone look at her with surprise. Xiaoqi is so cute, I want to take him home and raise him, Mu said to Su Qingyu with a smile. Su Qingnao smiled and said, you want a daughter, give birth to her yourself, why come to fight with me? Now that Wei Wu is older and has gone to private school, it's just the right time for you to raise another daughter. Lu Shenke was very happy after hearing this. Raise it, you all will raise it, Dad will help you take care of it. Su Qingyu and Mu Shi looked at each other and smiled. Su Qingyu walked around the shop and saw that the shop's front was twice as big as when it first opened. There were all kinds of ironware on the shelves. The workmanship was very good and they were all new. It seems business is good. It seems that the craftsman we hired is very good. Su Qingyu looked around. Yes. These craftsmen are very good at their craftsmanship. I can't even finish the orders I'm taking now. I'm thinking about hiring a few more craftsmen. Lu Bozong's business has grown now, and he is fat and generous. It's not easy to hire good craftsmen, Lu Shenke said. If you don't want to hire us, we can train them ourselves and let a few craftsmen help bring out a group of apprentices. Even if they can't work in the future, we will give them a pension every month to support them in their old age and write it into the contract. Don't be afraid that they won't take apprentices. Su Qingyu suggested. Lu Shenke and Lu Bozong's eyes lit up. This is a good idea. Once we say we are willing to support them in their old age, they will definitely be willing to help us train apprentices. Sister-in-law, you still have an idea, Lu Bozong gave her a thumbs up. He was still worried about where to hire the craftsmen. Su Qingyu smiled. These days, skilled craftsmen are easily reluctant to teach their skills. I am afraid that the master will starve to death after teaching the apprentice. But if we give them some welfare conditions so that they can maintain a living security even when they can't work, they should be willing to do so. Su Qingyu only made suggestions and didn't care about how to operate. After looking around, he left the shop. Xiaoqi followed her grandfather to watch the sideshow, and Su Qingyu went to the Iron Street to have a look, and also to her own shop. After walking around, I saw that business was getting more and more prosperous, and I felt very good. Suzu can now support an army of 200,000 people due to the tax revenue from iron mines. Both Lu Bachan and her breathed a sigh of relief. When he returned to the house, he saw Qing Xing there. Staring at her, "Why are you here again? Sister, why don't you want me anymore when I get married?" Qing Xing pouted with a look of aggrieved face. "Don't I want you? You're already married, and you still run to my sister every day. Aren't you afraid that your grandfather will have objections? Grandpa said that there were many things going on at the yamen in the evening and he wouldn't come back for dinner." Pei Qi also went to Haizu. "I'm at home alone. It's too boring to eat alone. Sister, doesn't the house still have a bowl of rice for me?" Su Qingyu glared at her. "Is this a matter of a bowl of rice? This girl is married, but she still runs to her every day, saying that she misses Xiaoqi, and that the food in the house is delicious, so she has to find excuses to come over to eat, just like a child who can't live without her mother." Pei Ji was so busy now that she was the only master in the huge Pei mansion during the day. Qing Xing couldn't adapt to it, so she ran to Su Qingnao every day. Su Qingyu also understood her. "Can I save you a bowl of rice? But you can't come over when your grandfather is here. It would be so lonely if you let the old man eat at home alone. Marrying you home will be the same as not marrying him." "Don't worry, how can I know? I came because my grandfather said he wouldn't come back for dinner." Su Qingyu nodded her forehead. "He said, now your brother-in-law is fighting in Kozhu, and he has to send military rations and various military supplies from the rear. Your grandfather will probably be busy for a while. If you like this novel, I hope you can share it on Facebook. The author is grateful.